Before you send out your next application, pause. As a developer, you need a portfolio website. A CV tells what you can do. With a portfolio, you can showcase your best work, share links to live projects, highlight your experience, and present your tech stack professionally. In this video, we're doing just that. An animated portfolio website using React and Framer Motion. And by the end of this video, you would have built a stunning website that you can share with clients or employers. Let's So you're going to open your code editor and then you're going to navigate to terminal. On the terminal, you change directory to desktop and then we're going to create our project folder in our desktop on the terminal. So we're going to do npm create vits at latest. Then the name of the project is animated portfolio hyphen then template react. Then you press enter. Then it's going to ask, you get a prompt if you want to use roll down bytes. This for experimental. I'm going to choose yes. And then it will ask if you want to install with npm and start now. I'm going to choose no for beginner's sake. So you're just going to follow this step. First, you change directory to animated portfolio. And then you're going to install React, npm install. If I had chosen yes, it would just install. We don't have to go through this process of changing directory, this process of installing. But for beginner's sake, let's just go through it this way. So once you have installed React successfully, you're going to type in code space full stop. Then you press enter. This is going to open your project folder in a new window in VS Code. As you can see now, this is opening right here. You can see this is animated portfolio. So I'm just going to expand the screen size. Okay, so now that this is done, you can see everything right here. We have our node modules, public folder, source folder, git ignore, ESL links.config.js, index.html, our package lock.json, package.json, readme.md, vites.config.js. So everything right here. Now let's test. So we're going to open a new terminal and we're going to start our server. So we're going to type in npm run dev. And right here, you follow the link and it's going to open in your local browser. So I'm just going to expand this. And you can see this is the default React app. Counter button is working. Okay, let's try and make a change. Let's say in our app.css, where we have Vits plus React, I'm going to change this to subscribe to my channel. If you check now, this is what we have, subscribe to my channel. Okay, so that means our React app is working. So the next step is to do some cleanups so that we can build our own React app, the portfolio website. So by cleanup, I mean deleting everything that comes with the default React app. Just few things, not everything entirely. So our app.jsx, Control A, delete. app.css, Control A, delete. Index.css, Control A, delete. Okay, so we can start building. So first off, you need to have this extension. EX7 React slash Redux slash React Native Snippets extension. Do well to install this extension. It's going to help you a lot. Let's say you want to create React snippets instead of having to type import React, all of that. You're just going to type in REFC, press enter, and then it's going to create React snippet for you. So do well to install this extension. If you do not have it, come to the extension box on the search bar, type in ES7 plus React slash Redux slash React Native Snippets. Okay, so once you have done that now, our app.css, I'm going to delete it because we're not using it for this project. So for the entire project, we're going to set the margin to 0, padding to 0 as well. Then for the body, I'll set the background color with this color code. And then all text color would be white. Then for all the links, that is for anchor tag, text decoration will be set to none, and text color will be set to white. And for all list as well, list items, we're going to set list style to none. So if you have all these already, then we're good to go. Okay. So the next thing we need to do now is to get the image that we're using for this project. So I've pasted all the images. So this is for the hero section. This is the image that we'll be using for hero section. You can just replace it with yours if you're building this portfolio website for yourself. And then this is for all the work samples that we're going to be displaying. So you can replace each of them with your own work sample. And then the next thing that we need to do is to get the fonts that we're going to be using for this project. You can see the background color has changed for the entire body, and you can see we have this app here. So we need to get the fonts. So we're going to get it from Google Fonts. So just type in Google Font. And the font that we're using, we just need to search for it. So I'm using this font. Okay, this font right here is what we're using. So just click on it and then click on get fonts, get embedded code. Okay, so right here in the, we're using this import right here. So you're going to copy these lines and then you paste it in your index.css. Next thing, you scroll down. So we're going to be using this properties right here. So I'm just going to comment on the properties. So for this is the font properties that we're going to be using. So let's say we want to use it in an H1 tag, we'll just come right here, pick it, and then replace it. Do you get? So the font width, let's say 400, and that is it. So I'm just going to close this now, and then let's continue with our project. All right. So in our source folder, we're going to create our component folder, and in the component folder, we're going to have our navigation bar folder. We would have the hero section folder. We're going to have the work section folder. We would have the footer folder. We would have the about folder. And also we're going to create the contact folder. For each of this folder, we'll create the JSX and CSS file for each of them. So about.jsx. Press enter and REFC to create React snippets. Then we'll create about.css. So I'm going to create the JSX and CSS file for each of them. I'm going to pause this video while I do that. Okay, so I've created the JSX and CSS file for each of them. For footer, for hero. So now we'll start working, but we need to install Framer Motion because we're going to animate with Firma Motion. So I'm just going to type Firma Motion. And also we need to install React icons because we're going to be using icons. So once you type in Firma Motion, you're going to see this website. For the npm package, just select that. And then for React icon as well, if you're on this website, npmjs.com/package/react-icons, then you're on the right page. So just copy the installation code and then you head over to the terminal. So our server is currently on and I do not want to stop it. So I'm just going to open another terminal and do the installation here. So I'm going to paste the installation code right here for React icons. Then for Firma Motion as well, I'm going to do the same thing. If you're on this website, npmjs.com/package/firma-motion, then you're on the right website. So just copy this installation code and then you paste it. So we've installed React icons. Now we're installing Firma Motion. So once that is done, we can now start working. We'll start with our navigation bar. So I'm going to mount the nav bar right here in my app.jsx. Nav bar, close it. Then I'm going to import navbar from dot/component/navbar/navbar. Okay, so we should only see navigation bar right here. So let's work on our navigation bar. So let's see, Firma Motion has been installed. So in our dependencies, you're going to see right here, we have Firma Motion, we have React icons, and package lock.json. So let's start with our navigation bar. I'm going to create a div tag with a class name of navbar. Then we'll have a list with 4 list items. And within each of those list items, we're going to have an anchor tag. So the first one will take / and that is for home. The second, I'm just going to copy this, or better still, type in anchor tag. The second will take about. So for the about components, about. The third would take work. And right here we'll have work. And the last will take contacts. Or Ctrl Z, anchor tag first, then contacts, contacts. Okay, so this is what the navigation bar will look like now. So we're going to style, open our navbar.css. So we're going to import navbar.css. Then we can now start styling. So we'll start with this navbar. Position is fixed. Then we want it at the bottom. So from the bottom, it should be 20 pixels. Left 0, we'll set right as well to 0. Align item center. Justify contents at the center as well. Display all the items flex. The text color would be white. Background color, we'll take this color code. We'll set the width to 230 pixels. Padding, we'll take 1.2 rem, 3 rem for the width and height. For the x and y axis, I mean. Then we'll set margin auto z index of 100. And the border radius will be 8 pixels. Then we have the list. Okay, so the navbar, another list. We'll set display to flex, gap of 25 pixels between each of them, and the font width will be 600. So this is our navbar right here. You can see this. Okay, this is a bottom navigation bar. So the next thing now is the hero section. We're done with navbar. Close this now to the hero section. I'm going to mount the hero right here. So you can see right here, just select this. Now for our hero section itself, first we need to import the image that we're going to be using. Import hero image from dot forward slash from our asset folder slash the name of the image is home.jpg. Okay, now to our hero section, I would create a div tag with a class name of hero and an ID of home. Okay, so that we can get in the navigation bar we had an anchor tag. Okay, so we're using this ID right here so that it will be easy to navigate. So for this hero section, we're going to have the hero background, and that is where the background image is going to be. Then we're going to have the hero content. Inside this content, we're going to have hero. Let's just have 3. The first one will be for hero left, the left section, the center, and the right section. So let me space each of them. For the left section, we're going to have 2 p tags. The first one will take this text, and the second one will take this text. Now, to the center, we're going to have 2 div tags. The first div tag will take this class name of text line for the first text, and the second one text line as well, but this is for the bottom text. So bottom text. Okay, in the first text line we'll have an h1 tag with the name. Then the second div tag will have another h1 tag with the name as well. Then after these div tags, we're going to have an image, and the source of the image would be the image that we imported, this hero image right here, this image. Okay, so that is for the center. Now to the right section. So for the right, we're going to be using icons. If you know the icon you want to use, you know what the icon looks like, if you have installed React icons, you can just type in the name of that icon. Now I want to use Facebook icon, I can just type in Facebook, and then it might take a while. The React is going to suggest list of icons that will match the keyword that you have typed, and you can just select from. That is if you know what that icon looks like. This icon is different from this icon, is different from this, is different from this. Okay, if you know that icon, you can just select from it. So I'm just going to select it, and it's also going to import the icon. Then you can just close it. But if you do not know what the icon looks like, you should visit this website. Let me close this. You should visit this website, type React icons, and then you visit this website, react-icon.github.io. Just visit the website, and then you're going to see tons of icons that you can select from, and you can see what they look like. So you can just come in here in the search bar. Let's say you want to use user icon, type in user. You're going to see different type of icon that matches the keyword user, and then you're going to select from it if it suits the website you're trying to build. Okay, now I want the Facebook icon. You see there are several icons right here that you can select from. So I chose this icon. So you can see right here, it's the same thing with the tag, the import is the same thing. Okay, so that is it. Then the next icon I want to use is the Instagram icon. So let's just get the icon from the official website. So I'm just going to type in Instagram, and then I'm going to see different icons. So I'm going to select this one, copy this right here, and then I'll come paste it here, and then copy this and then paste it where I need it. Okay, so, and then the LinkedIn icon, I'm just going to type it in because I know what it looks like. I know the particular icon I want. And then once you type in that keyword, you wait a while, and LinkedIn is React is going to suggest list of icon that matches that. So for each of this icon, I'm going to give it a class name of social icon. So instead of having to retype and retype, I'm just going to copy this, paste it here, and paste it here. Oh, I copied the closing tag too. Okay, so you can see right here, this is our hero section. Now let us tell so that it's going to look better. So I'm going to open hero.css, but first we need to import our CSS file into our JSX file. So we'll start with hero. We'll set the position to relative, the height be 100 VH, the display I'm going to set it to flex, align items at the center, justify content, center, overflow, hidden. Then next is the hero background. So for the background, we're going to use the background image. We want to have an image in the background, so URL // yes /home.jpg. That's the image that we're using. Background size, cover, background position, center. I'm going to set the position to absolute, top of 0. I'm going to set left to 0. We'll set the width to 100%, and then the height as well will be 100%. Then we'll set filter, blur it 10 pixels. Then I'll set the Z index to -1. This is to ensure that the background stays behind the content. Okay, so, and then we have hero content. So for this, we're going to set display to flex direction row, justify content space between. We'll set padding inline of 100 pixels, align items at the center, margin top will take 50 pixels. I'll set position to relative, and then Z index will be 1000. And then we have hero left. So for hero left, we'll set display to flex, gap between the two p tag, then transform, rotate 270 degrees. Then we have hero center. We're going to set this display grid, align items center, margin right of 100 pixels. Then we have an H1 tag here at the hero center, and then we have this bottom text here as well. So hero center H1. We'll set the font size to 220 pixels, text at the center, and then the font family will be this. So I'm just going to paste this here. Then hero center bottom text, this text here. We'll set the margin top to minus 100 pixels. Then we have the hero image. Let me give it a class name of hero image. So for this hero image here, let's do hero center. No, hero center dot hero image. I'm going to set the width to 300 pixels, the height 300 pixels as well, border radius of 12 pixels, margin top of minus 120 pixels. Then we have the right section. So for right display would be flex direction colon, and we'll set the gap to be 14 pixels. Then we have the social icon dot hero right dot social icon, font size will be 22 pixels. So let's see. Okay, so the image is now at the center. So in the hero center, we're supposed to do, after display grid, it's supposed to be place item center. That should center the image. You can see right here the background image is blurred, the content is on top of it. You can see the name, the image, the hire me and collab, this right here. Okay, so this looks good. So next thing now is the about section. So I'm going to close the hero section, and then we can now work on the about section. So for this about section, we're going to have a div tag with a class name of about and an ID of about. Inside this, we're going to have two div tags, about times 2. We'll have the left and right. So the first one will be the left, the second one will be the right. So for the left section, we're going to use an image. We'll have a div tag with a class name of about image. Then we'll have an image. Then we're going to import the image. We're using the home image as well. So I'm just going to import. I will name it about image from /assets. The name of the image is home.jpg. So the source is going to be from that about image. Okay, so that is for the left section. Now to the right section, we're going to have an h1 tag that will take this text about me. After that h1 tag, we're going to have a paragraph tag that's going to take this. Then after the paragraph tag, we're going to have a div tag for the buttons. So I'm just going to do dot about buttons, and we'll have two buttons. The first one will take download CV, and you can just attach your CV here, and the second one will take hire me. Okay, so this is for the about. Now we're going to mount the about components here so we can showcase it in. Now I'm going to select this. You can see that it has imported. I'll close this, and if I come back right here, this is the about that we have. Now we need to style it to make it look nice. So I'm going to open about.css. Let me close this. About.css. But before anything, we need to import our CSS file into our JSX file. So import.about.css. We'll start with this class name here, the about container itself. We'll start by styling that. We'll set the display to flex, then padding inline of 100 pixels, flex direction, set it to row, depth of 10 rem, margin top of 80 pixels. Then we have the left section, and we have this about image here. So for the about image container, we'll set the width to 300 pixels, border radius will be 10 pixels, and then we'll have margin left. Oh no, this is for the about image container. I mean, the styling is not. We'll set display inline block. We'll set the border of 8 pixels solid, and this color code 212531. We'll set the width of 350 pixels. We'll set padding of 20 pixels. We'll set border radius of 10 pixels. Then we have an image. Okay, so the about image, then the image tag, we're going to set the width to 300 pixels. Then border radius would take 10 pixels. Margin left would take 1.9 rem. Then next is about rights. The right section, we have an h1 tag, we have a p tag, so we're going to do dot about right h. Is it an h1 tag or an h2 tag? It's supposed to be an h2 tag, not an h1 tag. h2, yeah. Okay, so the font family, everything is going to be from here. So I'm just going to copy this once more and then paste it right here. Oh, come on. I didn't copy. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay. Then for the p tag, about right p tag, I'm going to set the font size to 20 pixels, the color with this color code, and then margin bottom of 20 pixels. Okay, so we did not set the font size of this, so the font size of this will be 100 pixels. Next thing is the buttons. So about buttons, we'll set display to flex gap of 15 pixels. Then for each of the buttons, we'll set padding, the width and height, 1 rem, 3 rem, border radius of 10 pixels. We'll set the border to none, and then font width will be 600. So this is what the about section looks like now. Next thing we need to work on is the work section. So now to work. So the next thing now is the work section. I'm going to close the about, and then we're going to open the work section. I'm going to mount this work components in my JSX file. I'm going to close this, close, then import it. So instead of having to, okay, let's just type import work. So we'll start with work. Now for the work section, we're going to be using this for images. So I'm going to import image 1 from asset folder slash sample 1 .jpeg. Then we have sample 2, sample 3, sample 4. So I'm just going to copy this, copy the entire thing, and then I'm going to paste it 3 times. So this is going to be for sample 2, image 2. This is going to be for sample 3, image 3, and this is going to be for sample 4 and image 4. So after this now, we're going to create an array of objects that is going to hold all the work objects. So for each work card, we're going to have an image, the content, the icon. So we need to create an array of objects that is going to hold it. So that's going to store it basically. So we're going to have const works will be equal to array. Then the first object will have an image, and it's going to use image 1. Then we'll have the title. The title is, I'll just give it a title for the first work card, comma, then we'll have the text that is more like the description, and it's going to take this description right here. Then we're going to have a comma. Next is the GitHub link, so you can just add your own GitHub link for this particular, like if you have like a responsive website that you want to showcase in your portfolio, you can add the GitHub link here. So this will be like a placeholder. I'm just going to add GitHub. Then we'll have link for the live link. So I'm just going to have hash link. So you're going to replace this GitHub with your own GitHub link for the project, then the live link as well for the project. Then we'll create the next object for the second work card. So instead of having to retype everything, I'm just going to copy this and then paste here. This is going to take the second image, and this, the title of this second one is a SaaS marketing website. Okay, so we're going to do for the fourth as well, the third and the fourth. So I'm just going to copy all of this and paste it. This will be for image 3. Then you replace the title with the title of the work you want to show. So this is an investment website or a landing page, investment landing page. Then for the fourth one as well, image 4, then you change the title as well. This is for e-learning websites. Okay, so I created an array of objects that is holding all of this. Then we can now start with the actual work display. So I'll create a div tag with the class name of work and an ID of work. So inside this, we're going to have the work header and h2 tag that will take this work. Then we're going to have our work container. Inside this work container, we're going to loop through the work array to display each of the objects, to display each of this in a card. So we'll use the map function. So we'll do works dot map to loop through each of them, to display each work. Then I'll pass index to uniquely identify each of the work objects. Okay, so you know this is an array right here, an array of objects. The first one here, the index number is 0. You know, array starts from 0. The index number of this is 0. Index number of this is 1. Index number of this is 2. Index number of this is 3. Okay, so we're passing index to uniquely identify each of them. So now we can now display the card. So we're going to have, we'll create a div tag with a class name of work. Okay, so it's going to clash with this, so I'm just going to name this work wrapper so that we can have this div tag for work card. So I'm going to give this, oh, Control plus, let me increase it, work card. Okay, so in our work card we need to pass the key as well to uniquely identify each of them, and the key is going to be indexed. Now let us have the contents in the work card. So for the work card, we're going to have 2 div tags, Ctrl Z, 2 div tags. I mean, the first one will be for the content, so work content, and the second one will be for the image. So in work content, I mean, we're going to have a div tag for the links, the GitHub link and the live link. So we're going to have 2 links. The first one would be work dots. This one is for GitHub link, and the second one is work dots, the live link. So if there's a link, if you have an actual link here and the user clicks on this anchor tag, it's going to lead them to the GitHub page. And for the live link as well, it's going to lead them to the live page. Now for this anchor tag, we have nothing to display. This is what is going to lead us to, right? But this is what it does. It leads us to this website, but we want it to display something, and we want it to display GitHub icon. So like I said before, if you know what the icon looks like, just type it in directly. So I'm just going to type in GitHub, and because I've installed React icon, React is going to suggest list of icon that match this. So I'm going to be using this icon. And then for link, I'm just going to type in link. React is going to suggest list of icon that's going to match this as well. And I'm going to use this icon. So this is what is expected to be displayed. The GitHub icon is expected to be displayed. The link icon is expected to be displayed. After the work links, then we're going to have an h2 tag that is going to display the text. So we're going to have work dot text, which is these texts here. You know, we've done work.github for the GitHub link, work.link, now work.text. What we're mapping over the works to display each of them. Remember that, right? So in displaying each of them, we're going to be using work.text, work.links, and all of that. Then we're going to have a p tag. Okay, the h2 tag is supposed to be for title. Then the p tag is for the text. So work.text. Okay, next is the image, the work image. So we'll have an image tag, and the source would be from work.image. Okay, so now if we check, this is what you should have. You can see each of them is being displayed. Okay, so now we're going to style this so that it can look much more presentable. So first off, you know the drill. We need to import our CSS file into our JSX file. Navbar work.css. Then we'll start by styling the work wrapper. So for the work wrapper, we'll style Ctrl Z. We'll style the header, the h2 tag. So we'll have h2 text align center, margin top of 30 pixels, font size of 90 pixels. Then the font family, we're going to get it from here. Ctrl C, paste it here. Next thing to style is the work container. So for our work container display, we'll set it to flex direction colon, and then align items center, overflow on y-axis, auto padding will take 20 pixels. Then we have the work card. So for our work card, we're going to set the background color with this color code 21 25 31. We'll set display to flex, then flex direction row, border radius will take 10 pixels, margin, then we'll set max width of 90%. We're going to set the height of each work card to 500 pixels, overflow, hidden, padding of 10 pixels, and then box shadow, box shadow of this value 0.1. Then we have the work content So for work content, we'll set flex to 2, padding of 20 pixels, padding top of 60 pixels. We'll set padding left to 30 pixels. Then the work content, we have work link. So for the work link, we'll set the display to flex, gap of 20 pixels. Then we have work link, the anchor tag in work link. We'll set the font size to 44 pixels. That is for the icon. Next is the h2 tag and the p tag. So work content h2, we'll set the margin, we'll set font size to 38 pixels, margin top of 40 pixels. Then we have work content p tag. We'll set the margin to 0, font size to 20 pixels, and the color, we'll take this color code. So we have work image and then the image tag. So we'll do work image overflow, we'll set it to hidden, and then flex to work image tag. We'll set the width to 100%, height 100%, object fit cover, and the border radius will take 10 pixels. So if we check now, this is what we have. So our text, this h2 text is not aligned. So let us see what the problem is. Okay, so the problem is coming from here. You know that work wrapper here, when we work wrapper h2, we said text align center. That means the entire h2 tag that would be inside this container, the text will always be at the center. So let us specifically say for header, that means this here should be dot header. So okay, now this is the only text that is at the center. Now this makes sense. Okay, so this is the work section. Now the next thing that we need to work on now is the contact section. So I'm going to close work and we'll work on contacts. After this contact section, we'll work on the footer section. Then we can now start animating. So for the contact, we're going to create a div tag with a class name of contact and an ID of contacts. Inside this div tag, we're going to have the header that would say contact me. After this header tag, we're going to have a p tag and it's going to take this text. After this, we're going to have the form tag. In the form tag, we're going to have a div tag. The first, we're going to have 3 div tags. So okay, so the first, second, in the first div tag, we'll have a label tag, and the label is for full name, which is going to be compulsory. After this label tag, we're going to have a div tag with a class name of names. So inside these names, we're going to have 2 input tags. The first one, the placeholder, would be for first name, and the second one, the placeholder, would be for last name. That is for the first div tag. Now to the second div tag, we'll have the label, and this is going to take email. After this label tag, we're going to have input field for email. The placeholder would be example at example.com. It could be a Gmail, it could be a work email. So that's why I'm using example at example.com. Then the last div tag will have a label for the message. Then we'll have text area, and the name will be message. Text for this text area, we're going to be using a self-closing tag. Okay, after this div tag, we are now going to have a button that will take submit. So I'm just going to mount the contacts component right here. So this is it right here. If we check now, we should see this contact here. Okay, so let us style. I'm going to open contact.css, but first we need to import our JSX file into our CSS file, contact.css. Then we'll start by starting this contact container. The max width will take 600 pixels, margin auto, padding of 20 pixels, border of 1 pixel solid, and this color code, border radius of 10 pixels, margin top of 3 rem. Then we have an h2 tag here, so contact h2, text at the center, margin bottom of 20 pixels. We have a p tag as well, so contact p tag, text, oh no, text at the center as well. Then we'll have margin bottom of 20 pixels. Then the color, will take this color code. Then we have the font tag, and then we have these div tags. So that's contact font tag, then the div tag. I'm going to set the margin bottom to 15 pixels. Then we have these names here. I'm going to set the display to flex. That is for these inputs, these two input fields. So then we have this, the font tag. We need to style all the labels. So right here, we're going to have contacts form label. Display is block, margin bottom of 5 pixels, and then font width of bold. Then we have input field and text area. So we're going to style both. That's contact, then form, then for the input field, also contact, the form tag, and the text area. We're going to set the width. We'll use this calculation, 50% minus 25 pixels. We'll set the padding to 10 pixels, margin right of 10 pixels, margin bottom of 5 pixels, border of 1 pixel solid, and then this color code 21, 25, 31, border radius of 5 pixels, and then we'll set background to transparent. Then for the contacts the form tag, the input type email for the email input field. I want to style that, so type for the email, and also for the text area, we'll set the width to 95%. Then we're still going to style this text area on its own. We'll set the height to 160 pixels, resize none. And lastly, we have the button. So dot contact, the form button, we'll set width to 100%, padding of 10 pixels, background color of white, text color of this color code. Then we'll set the border to none, border radius of 5 pixels, cursor we'll set it to pointer. So right now, this is what the contact form looks like. So I'm going to close the contact now, and then we're going to build the footer section. So for the footer, we're going to create a div tag for footer. Then we'll have footer bottom or footer content. Let's have footer content. After footer content, we'll have an HR tag, then a P tag. So in the footer content, we're going to have the left and right section. So let's just have left and then right. In the left section, we're going to have an H2 tag with the name, then we'll have a div tag for socials, and this is going to be in the social icons. So we'll use the Facebook icon. I'm just going to type in Facebook. React is going to suggest this of icon that would match this keyword. I'm going to use the first one, and then I'll type in Instagram. Now I'm going to use the first one as well. Then I'm just going to type in YouTube, and I'll use the first one. Okay, that's for the left section. And now to the right section, we're going to have lists. Then we'll have 4 list items. The first one will be home. The second one will be about. Third will be projects. And the last one will be hire me. Now for this P tag, we're going to have this text right here. Okay, so this is the footer. Now I'm going to mount it here, right here. Okay, so that's our footer, and now we're just going to style. But first we need to import the CSS file into our JSX file. For this P tag, I'll give it a class name of copy. That's for copyright. Now let's start styling. So we'll style footer. The split would be flex direction color, gap of 30 pixels, padding of 80 pixels, and the text color will be white. Then we have this footer content here. We'll set the display to flex, justify content, space between. Then we have this right section, the list. So for the list, we set display to flex as well. We'll set the gap to be 15 pixels. Then for each list item, no, this is for the list container. Now for each list item, we're going to set the font size to 18 pixels. Then we have this left here. We have an H2 tag, and we have the social icons. So for the left section H2, we'll set the font size to 28 pixels. Then we have the socials. We're going to set display to flex, gap of 15 pixels, margin top of 10 pixels. Then for each of the social icon, footer icon, that's going to be the class name. I'll set the font size to 20 pixels. So we'll use the class name here. Footer icon. Then we have this copyright section. So for the copy, text at the center, font size will be 18 pixels. So this is what the footer looks like. Now this is what the website looks like. This is what the portfolio website looks like. The last thing we need to work on is the animation. So we're going to be using Framer Motion for the animation. So let's get to it. So we're going to start the animation, and we're going to start with the hero section. We're not animating the navigation bar, so that's why I'm skipping that. So we're starting animation from the hero section. So this is what we're trying to build, right? So you can see that each of the letters are animated. And for what we have built now, we have not animated any of this letter. But what we're trying to build here, each of the letters are animated. So that means that we need to create an animation for each letters in the text. We need to create animation for John and also for Trumbull. And it's going to fade and drop into place one after the other with smooth stagger effect. So we'll start with the animation variant for the entire container, which is the word. So right here, I would create the container variant. And the job of the container variant basically is to control how the group of letters, which is the word, behaves, mainly for timing. So for the initials, that is before the animation starts, I'm going to set hidden opacity. We'll set opacity to 1. Now, before anything, we need to first import motion from Framer Motion for this to work, for all of this to work. So we need to import motion. Once you type in motion, because we have installed Framer Motion, we should be able to see this. So we import motion from Framer Motion. So now that we've done this, and then we've created the animation variant for the entire container, which is the entire text that we're going to show. Now, before animation, we're setting opacity to 1. Then for the final state, which is after animation, we're going to set these properties as well. Visible. So when it is visible, the opacity would be set to 1 as well. There should be a comma after this. Okay. Opacity will be set to 1. Then we'll add transition. So for staggered children, since we want a staggered character, we want all the text, all the words to be staggered. So we're going to have stagger children would be 0.4. That means that each characters should wait for 0.4 seconds before animating the next letter. Okay, so we've done this one. This is the first one right here. Now we're going to do the second one, and the second one is to animate the variant for each individual letters. This one right here is to animate for the entire container, that is for the entire word. So now we want to animate for each individual letters, and we're going to use the letter variant. I'll create a variable const letter variant be equals to, then inside it we'll open our curly braces. Now for the start, we'll start with the letter hidden and moved up to minus 100 pixels. So all of the letters, each of the letters will move up to minus 100 pixels, then it will drop down. Okay, so for hidden, we'll set opacity to 0, then y-axis will be minus 100. That is before animation. Then after animation, which is when the animation becomes visible, so we'll have visible, we'll set opacity to 1, and then we'll set y to 0. So that means the text will drop down to the normal position. Before animation, the text would move up. It would be minus 100 pixels. Then once we're animating, after animation, the text is going to return to its normal position. So the text are just going to drop down. Now, the text that we want to animate itself, we need to have them here. So this is for the first text, and right here, John is the first text. For the second text, text 2, this is the second text. So you know that initially when we're creating it, we already have all of the text here. We're not going to do that. We're going to do something else because we want to animate each of these characters. We want to animate John J, we want to animate O, we want to animate H, we want to animate N, such that each of them are going to be animated and they're going to drop down. So now let's start animating. We're going to animate the first line. This is the first line right here. So here for Framer Motion, you're going to do motion.div wherever you want to use Framer Motion. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. You're going to add motion dots in front of it. Okay, so we want to animate this container which contains the first line. This is supposed to be the first line. So now in this container here, we're going to apply the container animation rules, which is this one. We're going to apply it in the first line. So that is, we'll have our variant would be container variant. Then the initials will be hidden. We're going to use this hidden property, which is setting the opacity to 1. Then once we animate, we're going to use the visible animation, which is this. And then we need to align the letters horizontally. So let's just use style inline styling. We're going to set display to flex. Oh no. Curly braces, we'll set display to flex. Okay, so this is for the container variant. Now for the text itself, that is for the letter itself, we're going to be using this letter variant. So that means we're going to have motion dot h1, and right here as well we're going to have motion dot h1. So now let us animate. So let me close this and let me reduce this so that we can have a larger screen. For this, we're going to do something different, and that is what we want to get exactly for this h1 tag is to split each character and animate them individually, in the sense that we want to animate J, we want to animate O, we want to animate H, we want to animate N, right? And then we have it right here in the first text, and this container right here is for the first text, right? So we want to split each character and animate individually. So we're going to use the split function to split the string of the first text. This is the first text. That means we're not going to have this text again right here. We're going to split the string of the first text into an array of individual characters. and the split function is going to turn the word John into characters. So J would be a character, O would be a character, H would be a character, and N would be a character. And then we're going to map through each character to display them. So what I'm basically saying is, instead of having John here, we're not going to have John anymore. I'm going to delete it. But before, what we're going to have, we're going to split the text. The first text is going to be here. So text dot split. I'm going to delete this h1 motion.h1 entirely so that you can understand it. So we want to split the first text1 dot split method, open brackets. We want to split it into individual characters, then map through it to display each character, and then we'll pass the index number. If we're splitting this first text into characters, that means J is different, O is different, H is different, N is different. Each of these is a character, but all of this is a word, is a string. So that is why we're splitting it and then mapping through it to display each character and then uniquely identify each of them by their index number. So by index, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. I think we know that drill already. So text.split to split them into individual characters, then loop through it to display each of the characters, and then open our bracket to display the h1 tag, to display each of that character. And what we're displaying exactly is each character. And then we're going to have, we'll pass the key. So we'll pass the key here, and it's going to be index so that we can identify each of the characters by their index number and then display each of them as an h1 tag. Now we want to animate, so we're going to add motion dots here as well. We would add motion dot h1, and then we're going to pass, after this key we'll pass the variant as letter variant, so that when it's animating, before animation the opacity will be 0. From the bottom the text will be 100 pixel up from the bottom, and when it's visible opacity will be 1, and then y will be 0. That means the text will be on the right position. So that is for this one right here. Now to the next text, which is this. We're basically going to do the same thing, like the same thing. So what we're just going to do is, since we're applying the same animation, it's best to just copy this entire thing here and then repaste it. The only difference is going to be the class name for this bottom text. We need to add it, and also the text will be the second text. So I'm just going to copy this right here, and then I'm going to replace it with this. Okay, so this is for the second text, right? I'll add bottom to this because we actually styled this, the bottom text. Now this will be for the second text. This is going to take text 2, and that's what we're splitting here. So now let's check what we've worked on. This is what we're building, animated portfolio. This is what I've already built that I'm showing you, right? This is what we're building. If I reload this now, you can see that we have this tagged text here already. Let me reload it once more. You can see that the text is coming down. It's 100 pixels from the bottom and it's dropping down. And then each of the text is showing, the delay is 0.4 seconds before another text would display. You can time it and see by yourself. So now the next thing that we need to, next animation is this about section. So right here, let me reload. This is what we're trying to build. You can see the about section is sliding up. It slides up from down. It slides from bottom to top. Reload again. It slides from bottom to top. So let's work on that. Oh, this is not the file. Okay, so I'm going to open about. Then let's get to work. For the about section, we're going to create an animation function that is going to make the elements fade in and move upward with a custom delay. And the animation function is we're going to name it slide up motion. Also, I want you to say something. This is what I've already built, right? You can see that this is moving up. This as well is sliding up. This is sliding up. The animation here as well is sliding up. That means that we're going to be using the same animation here for this as well. So when we're creating the function, we would ensure that we're creating a reusable animation function so that other components can make use of it. So let's create that now. So right here, so the other component can make use of it, I'll use the export, then const. The name of the function will be slide up. Then we want to have a custom delay. So I'm going to pass delay right here as a parameter. And then return, open our curly braces. So we're going to start with the initial state, which is before animation. So hidden, open our curly braces. We'll set opacity to 0. And then y-axis will be 100. That means 100 from the bottom. Then after this hidden state, which is before animation, we'll have the final state. That means after the animation completes. So we'll use show. I'm going to set, okay, there's supposed to be a comma here. Okay, for show, I'm going to set opacity to 1. And then the y would take 0. That means it should return to its normal position. And then we'll add a transition. For this one, we'll add a transition. We want the animation to last for 0.5 seconds. So I'm going to have duration 0.5, comma. Delay is going to be a custom delay. So we're just going to pass delay as delay. And we're going to pass it wherever we need it. We're going to pass the value of the delay as an argument, as a function argument. So delay here will just be delay. Then is property, we use is in outs. Okay. And another thing that we need to know, which I always forget, is to first import motion from Framer Motion. Okay. So now that we've done this, we've defined we've created the reusable animation function that will make the element fade in and move upward with a custom delay. We now need to apply the animation where we want it. So the first place we want it is in the animation container. So right here, we're going to have motion dot div, and on this closing tag as well, motion dot div. Okay, no. So for this now, we're going to add our variant. We'll call the slide up function, and then we'll pass the delay time as 0.1. We're applying the slide up animation with 0.1 seconds delay. Next is to pass the start, which is the hidden state before animation. So initial would be hidden. Already have the value for hidden, and then while in view, we want to show the animation. So pass show. Okay, so variant here, slide up function, initials hidden, and then we have the hidden here. We'll have the show here. While in view, it should show. So another thing we're going to animate is the image. So I'm going to have motion dot image. For the image, we're going to do the same thing, the same animation for the image. So variant, I'll call the slide up function, and the delay is going to be in a bracket 0.1. That is all we want for this. Next is the right section. So right here, we're going to have motion dot div as well, and in the closing tag the same thing. Now for this, we're going to call variant. We'll call the slide up function, and then the delay will be 0.2. Initial would be hidden. So that means initially we want to hide the text. That's what it means basically. And then while in view, that means if it's in viewport, we want to show the text and animate it. So that's what this means actually. And also for the p tag as well, we're going to animate it. So motion.p. So we're only using variant here, and the delay is going to be for 0.4 seconds. I need to close this motion dot p tag. Okay. Now for the buttons, we're going to add animation as well. So here, motion dot div. Here, slide up as well, but this should delay for 1 second. So now let's check out what we have built so far. You can see right here that it slides up. Okay, and the delay between the button comes right after this about section. Everything is sliding from bottom to top, just like this. Okay, we're using the same thing for the work section, so we're just going to reuse this slide up function in the work section. So I'm going to open the work component. So first we need to import the slide up function from our about component, and then we can start using it. So instead of having to retype, we'll just come right here, and then we're going to copy this right here, then head over to work. So for the work link, motion.div, oh no, motion.div, the same thing will be here, motion.div, and then we'll animate. So variant slide up function, this should delay for 0.4 seconds. Initial hidden, while in view it should show. Then we have the h2 tag, which we want to animate. So motion.h2, then we'll do the same for this. Now for the h2 tag, the delay would take 0.6 seconds. Then we have the p tag, motion.p. We'll close this, and then for this, the delay should take 1 second. So if we check this out now, so we have a blank page here. I think we did not import motion from Framer Motion. Okay, so we need to import motion from Framer Motion. All right, so let's head back. You can see right now this is sliding up, and it's the same thing here, same thing right here, same thing right here. Now to the contact form. So for the contact form as well, we're going to use the same slide up function. So I'm going to import it, import slide up from the about page, and then here we're animating motion.div. We need to import motion from Framer Motion. Okay, and the last div tag as well, we'll do the same thing, motion dot Framer Motion. Then right here, I'll just come over to work or wherever. You can just copy this same thing and then paste it in contact. All you need to do is the delay for this will take 0.2 seconds, and then you just format your document. Okay, so now let's check this out. You can see that it slides up. Okay, so this is what the entire animation looks like. Let's reload. We have the staggered effects. For what we're trying to build, the image in the hero section slides up after the text, each of the text has animated. So we need to use the same thing for our hero section. I'm going to close this, then open the hero section. That means that we need to import the slide up function from about. So right here, we want to animate the image. So we'll come right here, motion dot div. Then here we'll have the same thing. The delay here would be for 2.8 seconds. We'll set this to 2.8 seconds. Initial hidden while in view show. Okay, so now let's try this once more. I would reload. You can see that the text effect has worked before the image shows. So this is the portfolio website that we've built and is fully animated. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.